What if I told you there was a team in the championship this season that has the most goals per match, the third least goals per game conceded, the most clean sheets in the league, the highest XG by more than 7, the most shots on target, the most big chances, the most goals, the most accurate crosses, the most touches in the opposition box? And last season, they were a fringe playoff team. If you don't know who we're talking about, and I'm almost certain you did because it's in the thumbnail, we are talking about Coventry City. So what we're going to do today is we are going to look into how good Coventry City actually are via eye test, underlying metrics, management, squad depth, all of the above. How good is this team? And what is causing them to go from where they were last year, quite lackluster to end the season, to where they are ascending all the way to the top of the table through 20% of the EFL Championship season? My name is Joner Fatcat. I make EFL Championship, Coventry City, and general football content. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. As always, get down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Let me know what I'm talking about. If it resonates with you, if you agree, if you disagree. And always, like it. It pushes it to more people. So let's get into the content right now. Oh, and if you're wondering what that was a Stein. I got it at a festival this weekend. By the way, at this festival, we hit 1,000 subscribers. So we had a little celebration there. Thank you all for the support.
Look, cups with the ice, and we do this every year.
If you don't support him now, you're fucked up. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself.
Come on now, we up. Let's go.
1K Joner, baby. 1K fucking Joner. This is the only thing that I like. 1K Joner. 1K Joner.
What?
1K Joner. 1K Joner.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget this is only the beginning of Joner Fatcat. Also, go check out my podcast Below the Prem with Alex Craig. The first episode is live now. I will put it in the description. Anyways, let's talk about Coventry City. I got this idea from the Jack Ward football podcast. He's probably one of my favorite on the internet content creators about the championship. And I'm not trying to rip off his video. I just think that, someone who has watched every single game, I'm sure he's seen a decent amount of their games. I just want to go through 3 things that I think are the main reasons why they are where they are today. Now let's start here. We'll show the play and then we'll talk about it. Long ball from Carl Rushworth, headed on by Haji Wright. BTA around the keeper, into the box, Haji Wright finish. Okay, there's a lot to break down here. Couple interior things I want to talk about before we get to the exterior, the main points. Carl Rushworth has a really good foot on him. He has a very good long throw. That allows for quick transition as Coventry have many different ways to score a goal. Second off, Haji Wright getting up and winning a header. He's won 18 aerial duels this season, which is a really respectable number because, long balls like that, you're not always put in the best position as a striker with your back up against a defender, sometimes 2 defenders. So good work on him there. Now I want to go over to Brandon Thomas Asante. If you could not figure that out, probably the star of the show in the attack this season, despite Haji Wright being the lead goal scorer in the entire league. Haji Wright's positioning is elite. He always follows through. He always finishes his run, finishes the play, finds himself in the right position. But in that clip, we saw Brandon Thomas Asante not give up on a play that seemed to be lost. Maybe last season, earlier this season even, there's a good chance that, if he was out there or if Mason Clark was out there, he may have just given up on that. But the way that Coventry City have pressed and attacked and defended from the front this season is one of the main reasons I think that they are successful. So right here, we're going to take a peek at the squad that played against Millwall. There are a couple things that maybe are different with our absolute AA squad. We know Jack Redoni was out for this match. Efron Mason Clark is on the bench. Right now, you can make an argument for Brandon Thomas Asante over him. However, I do think I would prefer Brandon Thomas Asante over Sakamoto on the right wing. And that's not a knock to him because every player in this squad is playing absolutely out of their minds, even down to someone like Jamie Allen, who is one of the most consistent and solid role players I've seen in a very long time in any team. He knows his role, he knows his responsibilities, and he does what is asked of him. It all starts from the back with their relentless press and their relentless attack from the front. Matt Grimes is the catalyst for every application of what this team wants to do. He is the safety valve at the back that allows players like Victor Torp, Jack Redoni, Brandon Thomas Asante, Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, whoever's in the middle, Haji Wright, Ellis Sims, to push up against that back line of whichever team they're facing on a day in and day out They are not scared of anyone. They are not scared to overextend themselves, to commit to trying to keep that back line pressed up against the keeper. So all they can do is just boom it forward and concede possession to us. There's a reason that Coventry sit at an average of over 50% possession, despite going up against the likes of Leicester City and Birmingham City, who are known for playing possession-based football. On the road against Leicester City, we'll talk about that later with point number 3. If you can guess, you're an absolute legend. Why? But that was a game where we always knew we were going to concede possession, and that was the tactic that we went into. So I just think the ability of this team to press from the front, win back possession in the attacking third, puts the other team in an uncomfortable position because 1, we can get goals from it, and 2, the defense cannot recover. Players are leaving the CBS or just matches against Coventry City absolutely exhausted, specifically that defense, because they're pressed so far up against their own box, and then it requires the midfield to come back and help. The attackers then shift to where the midfielders are, and there's just no outlets. And I think that's a big reason why we've seen so many quick transition goals and so many teams that have had to concede possession to us because there was no other way to play football. Now, the second reason, this one's a little niche, but the stats that come with this are absolutely ridiculous. I love stats, you guys know. I like to throw them in here and there. These 2 stats that I just found today actually had my jaw drop to the floor. So the second reason why I think Coventry City are so good this season is because of our wingbacks. Now, the wingbacks have come a long way. If we know last season, we have to revisit it. Jay Da Silva, red card at Luton Town, nearly cost a playoff opportunity for us. People were calling for him to be shipped out. And look at this. Jay Da Silva went, and he had a very serviceable appearance for Wales against England. He did not let Bukayo Saka get by him one time. He is dominating in possession and passing stats for Coventry, which we've talked about, and we are absolutely just beating the dead horse, but I'll throw 1 or 2 more of them in there, and then we'll go to his counterpart, Milan Van Ewijk. He had that mistake in the playoffs last year. He was rumored to leave. He decided there was unfinished business, and you know what? He'd been the best right back in the entire league, and it's not even a debate. Milan Van Ewijk has 5 assists. He has such good link-up play with Jack Radoni, Tatsuhiro Sakamoto down that right side. The overload on the right side is near impossible to defend unless you draw midfielders back, and that kind of plays into that relentless attack from the front because our wingbacks are pressing up so far that there's a lot of times that say we are to turn the ball over near the box of the opposition. They are there to play defense. I'm going to reveal this stat. This is I have to show this stat because it's just unbelievable to me. All right, we can see this right here. This is a real website. This is not edited. Just clicking around. Can anyone guess what it is? So we're going to go to a touches in the attacking third, right? So literally your foot or any part of your body other than your hands touching the ball. Who do we think is at the top? Jack Radoni, right? Haji Wright. Brandon Thomas Asante. Let's see. Oh my God, please zoom in on that. Milan Van Ewijk and Jay Da Silva have the second and third most touches in the team in the attacking third of the pitch. What? Look at Jay Da Silva's average position. He's a left back. Look where he's playing. We are able to squeeze forward and keep them compressed so much when we play against teams that aren't dominating possession that our wingbacks are playing as left and right mids. It's crazy. Milan's is even crazier. A right back having red zones in the opposition's penalty box is absolutely insane. We have to obviously watch the trademarked goal. We're watching my TikTok because the angle that I saw, page unresponsive. Yeah, you know what else is unresponsive? The attack of the opposition when these guys are at their best. You guys know that song Father Stretch My Hands by Kanye. That's the music here, but I have to mute it because I think there's copyright. But Milan down the wing at the end of the game. Okay. Crosses it in. Bad cross, whatever. Defending from the front. Deflects to Ellis Sims. Haji Wright always in the right position. Was he lucky to score? Who knows? Don't care. Equalized in one of the most frustrating games of the year. But I can't stress it enough. The wingbacks pressing up and knowing when they need to get back and using their pace to close down gaps on counterattacks and things like that. Also, combination of Matt Grimes just being literally the defensive ability of 4 men. It allows Jay Da Silva and Milan to attack, and that is when they're at their best. Jay Da Silva's got the second most progressive passes on the team. He's got the third most progressive carries. He's got the second best passing accuracy. He's just dominating in a lot of important stats. And like I said, it may not seem like it, but he is just so involved, and he's grown so much, and it's just our short king, man. It just feels good, bro. It just feels good. Just want to give him a hug. So that's number 2 of 3. And like I said before, there's 1,000 reasons, but I don't have enough time to do that. So we're going to chop it down to 3. The last reason, and it's only 2 words to explain why. There'll be rationale with it. But the final reason why Coventry City are so good this year and they can maintain their form and they can win the championship and they can go to the Prem is Frank Lampard, the former NYCFC defensive midfielder. Former player managers who were specifically very, very good players are a very slippery slope, in my opinion. Because a lot of the times, if things aren't going right there, you can always convince yourself, or the board can convince themselves more specifically, that, you know, they were a great player. They will be able to transition into a great manager. It might just take time. But I think that that can be very scary sometimes because you can give them a lot more leeway than you would give like someone maybe less established, so like a Chris Davies or a Will Still in, you know, like the English football pyramid tier. So Frank Lampard's been around, right? He hasn't had the best luck in the past, but he's done serviceable jobs everywhere. He managed his team that he played for years at. He took Derby County to the EFL Championship playoffs, and things just didn't work out. He never achieved that promotion. He did it okay at Everton, but I think Frank Lampard has really, truly found his footing here. He inherited a squad that was very good. He didn't make many changes squad-wise, but tactically, I think everything changed. He has the ability to unlock the most out of midfielders. We saw it with Mason Mount back in the day. We're seeing it with Jack Rodoni now, who, by the way, was our consensus best player going into this season, and he hasn't even been playing / at his best. Clearly, he was holding an injury the entire season, so I'm looking forward to seeing him get back. But Frank Lampard's tactics, his pressing from the front, his ability to hold possession but hold meaningful possession, and his adaptability is one of the reasons why this team is so good. Take the Leicester City game. We alluded to it earlier this season. This video. Now, I really hate hearing people force that whole, you know, it's not a rivalry thing, this or that. Coventry City versus Leicester City is a rivalry, but I don't care about that. I care about points. That's what matters. Let's look at average possession. I talked about how Coventry like to hold possession. They force teams to concede possession to them because of their relentless press. Leicester City hold 56% average possession. Coventry City a little bit below them at 53.4. That is a big difference time-wise, you know, if you average it out over 9 matches. But when you go into a derby, away, a hostile environment, you need to adapt your tactics. Now, Coventry have shown that they can go out on the road and win games by massive score lines. Millwall 4-0, Sheffield Wednesday 5-0, but Leicester City are an entire different beast. They're a parachute payment team. They have one of the most lethal attackers and dribblers in the entire league with Fatawu, maybe number 2 to Jaden Philogene, but still, 1A, 1B type thing. That wasn't a game where you could go in with your normal play style, expect to dominate possession, press from the front, leave that gap in the midfield, force Matt Grimes to do the job of 2 or 3 guys if you overextend. They knew what they needed to do in that game, and they went and they got a result. They got the point. That's what matters now. Advantage Coventry. They play again in January at the CBS, which I will be there for if you don't know. So look out for that. And I mean, truly, it wasn't a pretty game. I mean, neither side really is going to be happy with the result. We went in, we got the point, we conceded the possession, we were okay to sit back and defend. Little haram ball-esque style, and it worked. Now, that's not always needed, but you do have to know, and you have to be humble enough as a manager and as a team to know when you need to concede possession, because less is going to be more. We don't need to have 4 guys in the opposition box when we turn over the ball to try and win the possession back. We need to make sure that we have all of our bases covered. We need to make sure that we can stop the counters. The one time that they went out on a counter, Carl Rushworth saved us with an absolutely amazing leg reaction save against Mavididi, I believe. And I think that all comes down to Frank Lampard's tactics. Also, the professionalism and the buy-in that he's got from the players. Putting them up in hotels the night before even home matches. Just buy-in of the team, wanting to disseminate all of his knowledge and his experiences with the players. He's a class act. He knows how to speak. He doesn't put players down. He doesn't put anyone down. The only person he's put down was the EFL itself for giving them, you know, quick turnaround fixture time. But that's absolutely warranted. There's no reason that was an issue at all. That just shows he cares about these guys. And it's just all just positive things coming from there. And you know, it could have happened with Frank. Say he got off to a bad run of fixtures. Maybe they would have had him a longer leash than someone else may have. But it wasn't needed. He came in. He has the most goals scored of any English club in the calendar year. Coventry City are at the top of the table. And I think it is the truth. I don't think it is some nonsense first fifth of the season stuff. I think they'll maintain that. Will they get automatics? I hope so. Will they get the playoffs? I feel very, very confident about that. They're sitting above that 2 point per game threshold. The only team that's even at 2 is Middlesbrough. So I hope that they can keep pushing on, and I hope that they can finally get back to the Premier League because the fans deserve it after all of the tough years with management, not having a ground, relegations, yo-yoing up and down. So that is going to be all for today. Hope you enjoyed. Keep an eye out for more videos, more content. Follow my TikTok below the prem. It sounds so bad to say. Like the video. Let me know down below what you think the main 3 reasons are, and peace.